Hello and welcome to another Synthesizer Sundays. We're going to be continuing the mono synthesizer theme with another one, but with a little difference. The difference is this one is a DIY kit. This is the Transcendent 2000 from Electronics Today International. It was, July 1978 for 45p. It didn't include the kit. You had to order the kit from the catalogue and then build it to this, but it also came with instructions. So you didn't need to buy the magazine as well, but this one's the instructions for it. It's pretty full on. And there's a video, I've done a video on fixing this and other videos on it. They're probably links below. The problem with this one, the main one, was there was actually a precision oscillator, precision resistor that decided to die. Very strange. It took a little while to try and figure out what was wrong with it, but it works now, sort of. It's a really strange one, but we'll have a look at it. The main thing, it's like Princess Anne. Who is it? Who's Princess? It's like Princess Anne having a Reliant scimitar. The first thing that ever gets mentioned when you say this is like, a new order built one of those. It's the same thing. So yeah, comment below it, please. Just say it below. Nothing about Princess Anne, but about our new order built one of these. Anyway, this is the Transcendent 2000. Let's have a closer look at what's going on here. So it's a single oscillator, single filter, dual envelope generator, synthesizer. It's a little bit ropey, this one, but that's the thing with DIY synthesizers. They've all been built by different people to different standards, so they might all look very similar on the outside, but there's no telling of what's going on the inside unless there's pictures, and even then, no idea. I think this is a little bit out, but it'll do, it's all right. It's sort of drifted since I've fixed it, I think. So there's an octave control. You could go 2 octaves down or 2 octaves up. This is, I've never really managed to get this perfectly in tune. Oh my gosh. And there's a pitch bend, which is not sprung, so we'll get it to a like. Right now we're on square wave. We can go over to ramp wave. And there's a shape you can adjust between, well, it's between a triangle and a ramp. So there's a triangle. That's not voltage controllable. And that becomes a PWM. I'm lying, it is voltage controllable. So we can shift between this because we've got the attenuator that comes from the oscillator. This is the LFO. So if we turn this up, it should be able to start modulating between a ramp wave and a triangle, triangle wave. Oh, it is. Very nice, and we're going to flick it over to square wave for some bit of pulse width modulation. Let's get the most out of it. It's not the most lively of synths, if I'm honest, but it does the job. Oh, that's a bit of a crusty one. Yeah, it's not the most in tune right now, but we've got pulse width modulation. This is the level for the oscillator going into the filter, so we turn it down. There's nothing. We can even just turn up the noise, so it's just the noise. Oh my gosh, that came out of nowhere. This is the AD sweep, so this is the VCF attack decay, so it's not a full ADSR. We've got it completely backwards. So this is another thing I've completely forgot about how kind of weird this is. So if the AD sweep is on max, it actually inverts it and it pulls it down. If we, so I'll show you what I mean when I turn this down. So this is it without any, in the center is no sweep. And we need to go backwards to make it go up. So it's backwards to convention, this knob. Turn up the... bit less noise on that, and we still get the woo. It's kind of meaty, it's got a different sound. The resonance is pretty unruly. And then we'll bring in the LFO to also modulate the filter. But we can also, we can also make the LFO modulate the filter, the oscillator as well. So we'll turn this all down, make it a little bit more, and then we'll bring the LFO to modulate the oscillator. Still, it's very subtle again because it's not like a woo, woo, woo. The levels aren't crazy. It's a very small vibrato. But it's also got a square wave coming out of this oscillator, so we can also make it. It's really not doing much. You see what I mean? But that's the crazy thing. If you put both the triangle wave and the square wave from the oscillator in, it's kind of weird stepped thing. So there's those knobs, and then we've got pitch control. We can have it going pew with the ADSR, which is over here. So bring the sustain down on the ADSR so we get it going pew. There we go. Oh. Do you like a bit of gabber? So yeah, we got laser sounds, and that's thanks to the ADSR going into the pitch control. You've got noise, sample and hold. So this is basically a mixture of the noise being triggered via the oscillator to hold at a certain point, so you get a random noise source. What we're going to do right now, we're going to skip over and we're going to bypass the ADSR. And we're going to turn up this, so it'll go doo-doo-doo-doo, sound like space robots. So that's that. That's most of those knobs there we've touched. It's got portamento, of course. Let's get back to a noise. And then turn it off. It's not the quickest portamento, but it's a portamento regardless. You've also got a band pass. You've not got a high pass, you've got band pass. Oh, it's a bit crackly. That's the one downside to these kits. The potentiometers aren't the greatest, but yeah, they're a nightmare to clean, and then when they're clean, they're just like loose feeling. That's the thing you forget about old synthesizers, is they do actually feel kind of horrendous compared to new ones because of the quality of the potentiometers, even the most expensive ones and the fanciest ones. And sometimes the potentiometers have just come a long way in the last few decades, that's for sure. And then back to a low pass, band pass, low pass, band pass. And that's about it really. Oh yeah, you've got a bunch of switches down here. So you've got hold on. So that turns this from an attack decay to an attack release. So right now, the second you hit the key, it drops down. If you flick this over to hold on, this decay knob actually ends up being used when you take your fingers off. So straight from the trigger, and then with the... As you can hear, like now when you hold it on, it gets up to the top of the attack and then drops down. But if it's hold on, it stays there and then drops. And then over on the envelope generator, it's the same kind of thing. One of the springs on here, the voltage spring on this, you've got the, so the thing is there's two springs underneath each of these keys. And one of them is broken on this one. Well, it's not making contact because the voltage is. So you've got this note, and you've got this note, but there's nothing there. You're getting the attack, but you're not getting the voltage flicking over. So there's something going on there. We've got to open it up and have a look at the back. So that's that. And then you've got a couple more switches down here. We've got the repeater. So this basically turns this into a repeater. So it's then triggered by the envelope generator. So, and then if you bring that in, it makes it have random notes as well. Also, if you flick it over to keyboard gate, it'll only ever repeat when you put your fingers down. Like. So now we can have it like a monophonic arpeggiator in a way. You see what I mean? Ooh. Farty. And that's about it. Oh, and you can bypass it as well, which basically just bypasses the VCA. And that is all of it. Around the back, actually, really quick, you've got two outputs, a low impedance and a high impedance. Just plug it in and find out which one's loudest or quietest to your needs. You've got a VCF input if you want to play something through the VCF, but the VCF, as you can hear, is pretty unruly. External gate in, I can't remember the standard for that. And the external VC voltage controlling, they're really non-standard. It's kind of funky, but I cannot remember off the top of my head what they are. And then VCF foot pedal, plug in a foot pedal so you can control the voltage controlled filter. But yeah, that's the Transcendent. I quite like it. It's nice. It's funky and it's a nice package. It feels proper, even though it could do well with modernisation of the knobs. But apart from that, it's a good DIY synthesizer. Keep an eye out for them and remember that if it looks like this, or it looks like them, you can never guarantee how it's going to work or what, because it's a DIY synth. And the other thing about a DIY synth, if you don't know the source of it, there's another challenge you have, because you never knew if it worked in the first place. Some excited person might have built it, looks proper, but it may never have worked. They may have made an oversight or a mistake. So when you go in fixing a DIY synthesizer, always never assume that it ever worked. I think that's a fair point to thing. But also focus first on the power supply. I've done a video on this before. Focus on the power supply. Make sure the voltages are coming out correct. The bonus with DIY synthesizers is it's always very well documented what is going on. There's all the schematics and explaining what is actually going on with the schematics, because it was intended as an educational device as well. So you can find this on the internet. If you find one of these, just yeah, good luck with it, and I hope you have fun with it. Anyway, that's it. If you want to support, if you want to play on this, actually, coming down to this museum's not obsolete. This is set up next to the Transcendent Polysynth, which is the polyphonic. It's not the polyphonic version of this, but it's a polyphonic synthesizer that is of the time by Transcendent. And if you want to see more of this, or you want to see more videos and stuff, and you want to support the videos and the museum, then go and check out over on Patreon as well. The links are below, or check out some sample packs that we put out, because all of the money goes towards paying the bills and all that stuff. Anyway, I'm No Computer. This is a Transcendent 2000. Have a lovely time.